Is the world heading for a trade war? Things just got heated in the world of trade and politics. Is the global economy on the verge of a full-scale trade war? This pressing question arises as former U.S. President Donald Trump once again stirs controversy by announcing a major expansion of tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. Unlike previous measures, this move cranks up the restrictions to a whole new level. Under Trump's new trade policy, steel imports will now face a staggering 25% tariff, with aluminum also seeing substantial additional taxes. But that's not the only shocker. Trump also hinted at introducing a reciprocal tariff system, meaning that if another country imposes high taxes on American goods, the U.S. will hit back with equally tough tariffs in return. As expected, this aggressive trade move has sent shockwaves across the globe, especially among America's closest trade partners. How are America's trade partners reacting? Two of the biggest buyers of U.S. goods, the European Union and Canada, are not happy. Together, these economic powerhouses bring in over $550 billion worth of U.S. products every year. And if they decide to retaliate, it could send ripples through the American economy, affecting industries and businesses nationwide. However, just as tensions over tariffs were escalating, Trump took things even further this time, in a way that no one saw coming. In an eyebrow-raising interview with Fox News, he floated an idea that left Canadians in disbelief. He suggested that Canada should become the 51st state of the United States. I think Canada would be much better off as part of the U.S. because we lose $100 billion a year with them, and I'm not going to let that happen, Trump stated. He didn't stop there. He also criticized Canada's military spending, claiming that the country relies too much on U.S. protection without contributing its fair share. Why are we protecting another country? He questioned. Just when people thought it might have been an offhand comment, Trump doubled down. During a pre-Super Bowl interview, he once again suggested that Canada couldn't stand on its own without U.S. economic support and military backing. His proposed solution, absorption into the U.S. as its newest state. Canadian leaders fired back naturally. Trump's remarks did not sit well with Canada's leaders or its people. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau quickly fired back, calling the proposal an insult to the deep historical ties between the two countries. Across Canada, politicians from different parties stood united in opposition. Many saw Trump's remarks not just as a political stunt, but as a direct challenge to Canada's independence. New Democratic Party NDP leader Jagmeet Singh took an even more aggressive stance. Furious over Trump's new tariffs, he proposed a bold countermeasure, a 100% tariff on Tesla vehicles. Why Tesla? Because Elon Musk, one of Trump's most vocal allies, has been supportive of the former president's economic policies. If Trump and his billionaire buddies think they can push Canada around, we need to push back, Singh declared. Singh also proposed a massive incentive program to boost Canada's own electric vehicle industry, suggesting a rebate of up to $10,000 for Canadian-made EVs to strengthen domestic manufacturing and reduce reliance on U.S. imports. Meanwhile, Stéphane Dion, Canada's ambassador to France, dismissed Trump's remarks with a pointed response. If Canada isn't a viable country, then show me a viable country. Dion made it clear that such rhetoric goes against international norms and even violates principles outlined in the United Nations Charter. He emphasized that Canada is more than capable of standing on its own and will not be intimidated by political theatrics. The economic fallout of the tariffs just this past Sunday. Industry Minister François-Philippe Champagne underscored how crucial Canadian steel and aluminum are to the U.S. economy. These materials, he explained, aren't just commodities, they're the backbone of key American industries like defense, shipbuilding, and auto manufacturing. Canadian steel and aluminum keep U.S. industries running, Champagne stated. We're going to keep standing up for our workers and businesses. Meanwhile, Catherine Cobden, head of the Canadian Steel Producers Association, sounded the alarm on what Trump's proposed 25% tariffs could mean. These tariffs would be a disaster, plain and simple, she warned, stressing that they would hurt both American and Canadian industries. If the U.S. refuses to grant an exemption, she is calling for immediate retaliation. Targeting Canadian steel and aluminum is unfair and unjustified, Cobden declared. We can't just sit back, we need to hit back. Beyond trade, the battle moves to national security. This trade standoff isn't just about taxes on raw materials, it's spilling over into national security debates, political maneuvering, and even Arctic defense strategies. Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre is doubling down on a tough stance, not just against tariffs, but also on reinforcing Canada's northern defenses. His plan includes building a new Arctic military base, doubling the number of Inuit Rangers from 2,000 to 4, acquiring 2 additional polar icebreakers to strengthen Canada's presence in the region. Poilievre argues that funding for these initiatives should come from slashing foreign aid. Canada spent around $16 billion on aid in 2022-23, and he says it's time to bring that money home. He also has sharp words for Trump's trade policies. If I were Prime Minister, Canada wouldn't just complain, it would fight fire with fire. Poilievre stated, I'd slap the same tariffs on American steel and aluminum, and every dollar from those tariffs would go straight back into Canada's steel and aluminum industries. Europe joins the fight while Canada gears up for battle. Europe isn't sitting quietly either. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has already warned that if the U.S. follows through with these tariffs, the EU will respond aggressively. The European Union will not accept unfair treatment, the Commission said in a statement. We are fully prepared to protect our businesses, workers, and consumers. French President Emmanuel Macron also didn't hold back. In a CNN interview, he made it clear that he's ready to fight. I've done it before, and I'll do it again, Macron said, pointing out that these tariffs wouldn't just hurt Europe, they drive up costs in the U.S., making life more expensive for American consumers. What's next? The global trade landscape at a crossroads. Trump's latest tariff push is setting the stage for a renewed global trade war. If the U.S. goes through with its plans, the European Union has a wide array of countermeasures at its disposal, including retaliatory tariffs on politically significant U.S. products, like bourbon whiskey and motorcycles, blocking American companies from bidding on massive EU infrastructure projects, citing regulatory screws on U.S. tech giants like Apple, Google, and Netflix, revving the long-dormant digital services tax, which would place a heavy financial burden on American tech firms, with trade between the U.S. and the EU exceeding $1 trillion annually. Any aggressive move from Brussels would have global consequences, forcing Washington to rethink its approach. As tensions escalate, one thing is clear: the era of stable trade relations is over. The world is bracing for an economic showdown that could reshape global commerce for years to come. The question now is, how far will this go, and who will blink first?